Welcome back to Tools and Cars with Chris. Today, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know on how to change your oil on a 2013 Nissan Altima. First, let's go over the things we're going to need. You're going to need a good jack and some jack stands to hold the car up. Something to block the wheels off if you feel necessary. I couldn't find anything. I was just using something. You're going to need your oil filter, and a funnel, and of course a drain pan to drain your old oil into. A pair of gloves so you don't get your hands dirty, and the actual tools. You'll need a wrench with a 14mm socket for your drain plug, or you can use regular wrench, whichever one works for you. This is an oil filter wrench. It has these little claws that open up and it'll squeeze down into your filter nice and tight and spin it off, because those things are on there pretty tight sometimes. And this is a plastic clip removal tool, because there's going to be some plastic clips we're going to have to remove from underneath the engine bay of the car. Alright, so first I always like to check my oil, see where we're at. What you want to do is pull the stick out, wipe it off, and then dip it right back on in there. And then pull it back out. And this is what we're looking for. You want to look at the color of it and the level of it. Got a low and a high dot. And you just want to make sure that you got oil in your car still. Wipe it off again. Stick it back in there. After you do that, take your cap off. That way your oil can drain a little bit faster, and I like to put it right here. Alright, so now what we're going to do is jack up the car so we can safely get under and drain the oil. What you're going to want to do to do that is look up under here and find you a nice spot to place your jack. Mine is right there on that pinch weld. I'm going to jack that up, and I'm going to also use that same spot just a little bit to the right. Place my jack stand. I'm going to do that on both sides of the car. That way I can get the front of the car lifted up nice and good so I can get underneath of it and pull the drain plug. Alright, so that's that. And as you've seen, once I got in there, I gave it a good push to make sure that I felt safe before crawling under there and the car wasn't going anywhere. Alright, so once you come underneath the car, what you're looking for is, this is your oil pan. Alright, if you look on the back side of the oil pan, right here is your 14mm drain plug that you want to pull to let your oil drain into your bucket. And if you look behind your passenger front tire, there's a little plastic fender liner. Pull this fender liner back and you'll find your oil filter right there. Normally there would be a little plastic clip. This was that little pin rivet thingy clip that I was talking about, you have to pull, but whoever had this car previously decided they wanted to cut this thing off, so they wouldn't do that no more. So there's our oil plug. And with the oil filter over here, might be nice to get a piece of cardboard and see if you could put it on top of this, on top of your subframe right here, and that way you don't make a mess in your driveway. Or just lay some cardboard down underneath you. I think that might be what I'm gonna do. I'll be right back with y'all when this is done draining. Alright, so the oil is just slowly dripping out, so it's all empty. We're gonna put our plug back in. Wipe it down just a little bit. That way we can see any new leaks. And tighten her back up. Don't want to pull it too tight, just get it nice and snug. You will strip out your oil pan or your threads or something, and luckily, if you're lucky, you'll just get a new bolt. Worst case scenario, you gotta replace this whole pan. So now we're gonna go in here and we're gonna pull our oil filter off. And maybe just do this kind of slowly, because it's gonna drain out onto this frame, and I want to try not to make a mess. There we go. Just let it drain out a little bit. Like I said, it's gonna make a little bit of mess on your frame. Just go back and wipe that up when you're done. You always want to go back and wipe up some oil. That way, when you put the new oil in and start the car, you can check for leaks. Oil I'm going to be using today is a full synthetic 0W20, and got a Mobile 1 extended mile filter. Premium oil filter to go along with it. So you always want to make sure you get the right oil filter number and the right weight oil, the 020, and type of oil, synthetic, non-synthetic, blend, whatever your car calls for. You can look in your owner's manual and all the information will be in there. Or you can look it up online if you don't have an owner manual. The information's out there somewhere. You can even call a parts store or a mechanic shop. It's not too hard to figure out what you need. Alright, so here's the oil filter that I'm going to be using. And when putting your oil filter on, you want to make sure that your old one has this rubber gasket right here still on it, that it's not still on the car, because if you put the new one on and there's the old rubber is on there still, you're going to have a leak. But it's always good. I like to just put a little bit of old oil on my finger and put it around just a little bit. Put it around this seal right here. This rubber gasket I'm talking about. That way it seals up nice and good. And you don't need any tools or anything to put this back on. You just spin it on by hand. Twist it on there nice and tight. Just with your hands. Maybe get a little rag if your hands are slippery. Just make sure it's on there tight. That's that. We are done under here. That's it. Just gonna wipe this up. Just for the heck of it. And that's it. Alright, so now back up top. We're gonna get our funnel, put it in the hole over there, and we're gonna get our oil. Like I said, I'm using a full synthetic 020, 0W20 weight. And this car takes about 4.5-5 quarts. So I'm gonna pour in just about the whole bottle and see where we look like. Make sure take this nice and slow so you don't make a mess. That is 4.5 quarts. I'm gonna put the cap back on my jug so I don't kick it over. And I'm just gonna take a peek here at my dipstick and see where we're at. I got a new paper towel over here, so we can look at the new oil compared to the old. Just like before, you want to pull it out, wipe it off, dip it back in. And I think because the car is jacked up still, it might not be the perfect reading, but it gets you close. Always want to check it again after you crank the car up and put it back on the ground. And that's what we're looking for. It says we're full. So I'm gonna put the cat back in and let's crank her up, see what happens.
What are you doing?
Changing the oil buffer. Yeah.
Why do you have a flashlight right there? I can use it for you.
Oh, I need my flashlight because it's dark and I can't
Hold
see.
it right here.
Oh, thank you.
Right over here.
Alright. So we got everything.
Are you done?
Got all our caps back on and all the bolts
Why is that staying
tight.
right there?
Got all our caps back on and our bolts tight. We're gonna go and crank the car up. Alright, so we're gonna hop in the car and be real careful because it's still up on jacks. Don't want to shake it too hard. But come in here, just give her a good crank real fast. It'll sound good. Don't hear anything out of the normal. No oil spitting out up here. Look down here. Don't see no leaks. Look over here at our oil filter. And it's not leaking. Alright. Looks like we're good. We're gonna go in here. We're gonna shut the car off. And then come back out here and we're gonna check our oil level one more time. So wipe that off.
I need your light. I need your light.
Go back. And pull it out. It looks like we're good.
You're good, Daddy.
See, I don't know if you can see the oil level on there, but we're about halfway up the stick
I got this one.
between the two dots, and that's about right where you want to be.
Can you see it, Daddy?
Yes, I sure can. Thank you. All right, so to reset our light, we're just gonna go into the menu.
Can I come on? Can I come in?
Not right now, baby. We're gonna go down here to maintenance, service,
And what?
and then we're gonna hit reset. And that's gonna reset our miles for my oil. The light comes on every 5,000 miles to tell me I need an oil change.
Ew, that nice.
That's all. Thanks for watching.